it's definitely helped. I definitely do feel a lot happier. I guess Drake was right. I guess, people who say money can't buy happiness just didn't have enough money. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras nest. For those who are here new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. So today's minimalism video is going to be 10 tips on how to internalize happiness. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo. Recently, I've been having a lot of subscribers mention both on my Instagram and on my YouTube that I look a lot happier, and it's so true, guys. I am in such a better headspace. I kind of started getting into a better headspace around February. At the time of this filming, it's now April. So I've been practicing some of these things that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and it's really helped a lot. You know how everybody has a genetic set point for happiness? I'm not a naturally happy person, so I've really had to work on it, and I figured if these things could help me out, I feel like it could help anybody else out. Not all the tips might help you, but it's a good starting point, and I just love to share things, share that positive, happy energy vibe. So without further ado, let's just get into the 10 tips. Number 1, a healthy amount of exercise. I actually got this idea from Keanu Reeves. If you guys know, I'm a really big Matrix fan. I'm a really big fangirl when it comes to Keanu Reeves. He's very, very inspirational. I love both his persona as Neo and also his actual character, or I guess celebrity persona. And one of the things that apparently Keanu Reeves is well known for is he's a very kinesthetic person, and he finds a lot of happiness in moving, and that really inspired me because I took a break from healthy living or working out. I didn't work out for 4 years, so I kind of just been sitting on my butt for 4 years, which I needed because I just had such a toxic relationship with working out. So when I saw that Keanu mentioned that, I got inspired, and I was I'm gonna move. I'm not going to exercise, I'm just going to move in healthy ways. So I started lifting weights every other day, going for really short runs, a walk around the neighborhood, and I started to feel my endorphins started to kind of kick in, and I started to feel my old self again. Obviously not before I became super obsessed with working out, but just who I used to be in high school. I used to go for jogs around the neighborhood when I was in high school. I felt youthful, and I felt alive, and it was really good. So I think that I could recommend a healthy amount of exercise. I definitely don't want to advocate for a toxic relationship with working out. That's something that I had, and it was definitely a really miserable experience, and I don't recommend that. But just something healthy, maybe working out maybe once or twice a week, just to do something that's really enjoyable, I think could definitely help benefit you. Okay, number 2, material stuff is nice. If you guys have been following me for some period of time, you guys know that I'm very anti, or was for a long time, especially on my channel, very anti-material possessions. I really advocated for, being spiritual and investing your, life in other things and not in material accumulation. But recently, since I've taken my 1-year break from minimalism, I totally gave myself a full allowance to indulge in material possessions, and it's really helped. I feel a lot happier. I know that a lot of people say money can't buy you happiness, but I think that it can to a certain degree. I've definitely been enjoying being able to buy nice things and enjoy nice things without feeling guilty. That was one of the criterions that I told myself from my break, was that I was not gonna be feeling guilty if I bought something and brought new things into my life, and just enjoying material possessions, and I feel a lot happier. It feels nice to have little upgrades in one's life, and I guess honestly it's just a perspective. I've kind of given myself permission to responsibly enjoy these material possessions. So I know it's not very zen and it's not very minimalistic, but I just feel it's definitely helped. I definitely do feel a lot happier. I guess Drake was right. I guess people who say money can't buy happiness just didn't have enough money. Okay, number 3, so a positive change of attitude. I think for the longest time I was very cynical, and I was very stoic, and I was very hard on myself, and I didn't allow myself to have a positive attitude. Kind of always associated having a positive attitude with being a fool. There's really nothing to be happy about because life is hard enough. What could I be happy about? I just didn't feel I also didn't feel it was very zen to be happy or overtly happy, so I just didn't really allow myself to feel strong emotions. I didn't let myself feel very sad, but I also didn't let myself feel very happy. But something that deeply impacted my thought process was I started to realize I was always just having negative thoughts, and it was really impacting my quality of life. And the thing that changed it for me was this one interesting thing that I heard. It was actually from Jessica Alba. It was on TikTok. It was so small and insignificant, but it really did change my perspective. Just talking about how plants, they would water it, and both equally, but they would yell at one and talk nicely to another, and the one that they yelled at withered. And it was something to do with at the atomic level, there's the wave frequency at which you yell is a higher spike, and so it's destructive to nature. And I just thought that was so interesting because I feel in some ways maybe that's what I was doing to myself. And another example, that because I started to do more research into it, they were saying that snowflakes, if you yell at water, the snowflakes distort into horrible images, but snowflakes, or water that's spoken to nicely when frozen, creates a different shape. And I was I really do believe in the law of manifestation, and I do believe of the frequencies that things operate at, that atoms operate at, and that the universe is always expanding. I was a science major. I really do believe in science, and there's a lot of things that we don't understand still, even with like all of our signs. So I just feel like I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna run with it. I feel like between the two, between believing in this and not believing in this, believing in it really did help me a lot. I've been very careful now about the things that I say to myself, the things that I say about other people, the things that just, the energy that comes out of me. I protect my vibe now because I just kind of see it from a scientific perspective that I don't want to be a destroyed looking plant or warped looking snowflake. Okay, and number 4, protect your hope. This was a really important one for me because I think that when I decluttered my desire for material possessions, I also decluttered my hope for life. When I felt like I couldn't do anything because I'm supposed to do less as a minimalist and I'm supposed to own less as a minimalist, I completely lost my drive for life. I felt like there was no point to anything, and that just meant like I had no hope. And the thing that fixed it for me was Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey was talking about how like, and I know this is like really dark, but it for some reason helped me a lot. A lot of the people who survived through Auschwitz, like they talked about how that, like Jewish people, they talked about how they held on to their hope, and that's the thing that got them through such, you know, an horrific experience. Essentially, Dave Ramsey was saying hope is the thing that gets us through, and it's the thing that keeps us going. And I was like, I definitely need a little bit more hope in my life. So that's actually something that I've been practicing a lot. I protect my hope. Whatever inspires me or makes me feel very hopeful for the future, I hold on to it now. Before I would tell myself,
why are you desiring that? Why are you holding on to that?
I was using my minimalism in the most toxic ways possible. If something inspired me or something gave me that sense of hope, I would immediately squash it down and be like, why are you like lusting or wanting for whatever it is that was causing hope in me? Now I hold on to it. My wallpaper and my screen, my lock screen and everything, or anything that inspires me and makes me feel like life is beautiful, I add that into my life, and I don't care that it's superficial, because honestly, it's hope is the thing that makes you happy and it gives you that thing that makes you wake up in the morning and feel like life is just so freaking awesome. Okay, number 5, I stopped with overindulgences, which is kind of interesting because it's very counterintuitive to some of the other things that I've been saying. But I think that like 2020 and 2021 was just like such a messy year for me. I was really depressed because of COVID, and it stalled my dental exams, and I spiraled into depression. I was just like in such a bad place. So I started to overindulge in things that I never had, specifically food, because I've always been like a health nut, a gym rat. I never ate junk, I guess. Yeah, I was indulging a lot. So for the past 3 years, I've been eating a lot of junk food. And in these past couple months, since February, I decided that I just need to stop with the overindulgences. Like, I'm not saying don't have overindulgences, or like completely don't. You should still have indulgences. I'm just talking about overindulgences. The way that I was doing it, I was abusing. It got to the point from like, it went from like healthy indulgences to just like abusing it. I was like binging at night. I was just eating junk food instead of proper meals. I was like eating in bed. It was like really messy, and I just stopped with it. And what I did was I realized that a decent level of productivity is actually pretty good for you, and that's something that I've been implementing. If you guys have seen, I'm kind of back on track with like making video content, and just, you guys sometimes see on like my Instagram, on like my stories, I take pictures of like me on my computer, me editing, me just like journaling. I'm having like a productive health kick, and I'm here for it. I feel a lot happier. I don't know what else to say. It's just, honestly, there was just too much chilling in bed and ice cream, and just balance. Honestly, you need to have a little bit of both. You need to have a little bit of productivity and a little bit of indulgence, just not too much overindulgence. It's just not healthy. Okay, number 6, finding a balance between gratitude and complacency. So I have really struggled with my version of gratitude. I got really into gratitude when I started minimalism. I was just so grateful for so many things because I had never heard of this concept of gratitude till I discovered minimalism. It's a very common trope in minimalism to be, grateful for things. But I started to realize that when I would express gratitude, I felt very complacent. Like, I'm so grateful for this, so I can't want more, because wanting more means I'm not grateful. So for the longest time, anytime I wanted, it meant I wasn't being grateful. So I would just like shove down any desire or any striving feeling that I felt. And so like in February, I told myself, hey, you know what? Like, let's try something different. Doing the same thing over and over again is just insanity. So I was like, why don't we like strive while still being grateful, and let's see how that works out. So I'm like finding that balance where I'm just like, I'm expressing gratitude for what I do have, but at the same time, I'm going ham and striving for what I do want, and I'm not giving myself any limitations. I feel like I'm operating from a place of abundance. Before, I was operating from a place of scarcity. Like, I'm so grateful for this because like I don't have anything else. Now I'm just like, I'm really grateful for this. We're still striving for better. Like, we're still here to improve ourselves and upgrade our lives. So it's like they're not in opposition. I feel like it can have both. Okay, number 7, keeping your finances in order. I think I was really scarred about how tight I was with my money and my insane frugality when I was paying off my student loans. I did not want to look at another spreadsheet. I did not want to count another penny. I didn't want to record my spendings. And so I think for like the last year that I recorded my spendings was in 2020. So for all of 2021 and 2022 up until like February, I didn't record anything. It was like such a mess of finances. I was just like, I had no idea how much I was making. I was just working but not recording it, and I would buy and like I just didn't want to think about it. I was like, but in February I was like, I think we need to just kind of get our money straight great. And I was like, we can budget in a healthy way. We can budget for the things that make us happy. Like I was like, I try to look at it from like a perspective of like, let's just budget. And honestly, getting my finances in order in like a healthy way has really helped my happiness. I've had a lot of anxiety really not being clear with the numbers. So this time around, I'm not that frugal. I'm more kind of like balanced and responsible. I'm just responsible. And I also give myself that space to spend on things that do make me happy, and also telling myself I'm not going to feel guilty about it. Honestly, money's important, and it's important to have a safety net, and keeping your finances in order is really just for yourself because it's your money and it serves you. So it's just good to be clear on the numbers. Okay, number 8, hoarding, journaling, and brainstorming. Okay, so this is pretty big because you would think that as a minimalist, I might have been big on journaling, but to be honest, I never really was. Like I would keep a journal to just kind of record thoughts every now and then, but like actually like systemic journaling or like planning out my like day and my thoughts and my ideas was something that was like really foreign to me. I didn't really do that a lot actually up until February. I started using my journaling kind of like a productivity tool. So I started, cleaning out the engine, cleaning out the mind, all the negative thoughts and just general thoughts and brainstorming and ideas that I had. I would just get it down onto paper, and I started to see a bit more progress in my life. I also started to get a lot more motivated about the things that I did because I could kind of see like the checklist as I'd like accomplish things. I would like check it off, and it also revealed to me a lot more deeper thoughts that sometimes I wasn't really aware of, and I just didn't have awareness. Writing it down in my journal would bring those thoughts to the forefront, and generally speaking, that level of productivity and that level of clarity and awareness has actually made me feel a lot happier, more so than when I was just oblivious and ignorant. So I definitely do credit journaling with helping with that a lot. But just higher frequency of journaling has definitely helped me feel happier on just like the weekly than when I just journaled, I don't know, every like couple days. Or okay, number 9, happiness is an inner thing, so you might as well pick the right attitude. So this is something that is kind of interesting to me because this is something I have preached on my channel for many years, and this is something that I learned from Zen and from monks, is that happiness at the end of the day actually comes from you. It is nothing external. It is something that exists within you. And that was for me a really hard thing because I have really struggled with trying to apply that concept of like, it doesn't matter what the outside is like, I somehow still need to generate happiness. I'll be honest, I don't know if it's just like genetics. I just feel like maybe I've been fighting an uphill battle and I just wasn't aware. But for me, I have to use a lot of external things to maintain my happiness. Working out makes me happy, eating right makes me happy, being productive makes me happy, being successful makes me happy. And it's only when I'm doing those things do I actually feel happiness. So that's an interesting point because although I can't seem to generate happiness within myself, I do feel happier when I pick a happy attitude. And that's something that I started practicing. I started practicing like a happier attitude. I was like, I have the freedom to be happy, so I'll choose to be happy. I can't control the things that are on the outside of my control. So regardless of those things, I'm still going to choose to try to be happy. And that has helped a lot. I also took off the pressure that if I'm not happy, that's okay too, but at least I'm doing everything that I can to do things right. And that in itself has made me happy. I don't know, it's weird. Comment down below if you guys can relate to that. And number 10, never lose the magic. I think that is one of the things that as adults, it's so precious, and once you lose it, it's lost, and it's really hard to gain it back. So that's just never lose the magic. And the things that I can describe where I feel that it still exists in adulthood, so like Disney is created by adults, and same thing with like Ghibli Studios. These are adult creations for children, and there's so much magic in there. And I think like even just YouTubers, a lot of people complain, YouTube is staged, yada yada yada, but they're selling you a dream, they're selling you magic. That's why we still come back and we watch these things, because it's the golden innocence of life. It's the things that spark joy. When you're a kid and you dream of like a certain life, but then when you become an adult, you realize that this is all there is to life. Wake up, go to work, come back, eat, sleep, repeat until you die. Like that is such a sad way to live. And there are people who've escaped that, like that rat race, and they live the life that we wanted as kids, and that's what never lose the magic. And so that's something that's really helped me a lot in these past months. I've been telling myself, how can I live like my best life? If you guys have seen on my channel, I've been making more videos like living my best life. Come with me, my vlogs. I show you guys like the magic that exists in my life, and I feel like it's come across because a lot of you have said that I look a lot happier in my videos, and it's true. I am a lot happier in my videos because I've been operating from a place of abundance. That magic is just so beautiful because I feel like when I'm participating in magical things, I feel a lot happier. So that's something I could recommend. Find what is magical or was magical from your childhood and implement that more as an adult. And you shouldn't feel ashamed, because I just tell myself, the creators of Totoro were adults and there's so much magic there. Okay, so there we have it. I hope that any of these tips could have helped you out, just gain a little bit more insight on how to have a more happier and positive life. I'm not here trying to advocate for toxic positivity. These are more tips and tricks for people who just struggle with being happy. That's something that I struggle with, so I hope that this could have helped anyone else out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.